Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is one of the first videos I've done since I relaunched my channel from Trucker Brandon to Brandon Twad. And today we're off to Arbroath, my hometown, just to have a look and see if things have changed, because I've been told a lot of things have changed. So I'm going to go down, tell you a bit about my upbringing and point out little bits of Arbroath. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So this area here that we're walking on now is where my dad used to live, and my dad obviously never took any part in my upbringing, but the whole area has changed so much. Like, these are all new builds behind, so it's very strange to be back in this area. And I remembered as a child when I'd walk to my dad's or run away to my dad's when I was in foster care, and he would take me to the police station and not actually care about me. So yeah, this area brings back so much memories, especially on the mini motorbikes that my dad got us when he didn't get us them, they were my half-brothers' mopeds and that, and they would rally them back and forth on the street behind. This whole area is unrecognisable now, but this area, it's got a piece of my heart, mainly because of childhood memories, but I hate this area due to the fact that it's where my dad lived. But yeah, it's changed more than I could ever imagine. Again, more investment in Arbroath in general. So yeah, let's get out of this area because I don't really like it. Yeah, it's got a piece of my heart, but I don't like it at all.
Smiley faces in the vapor, counting corners till we get to any place but where I'm at. Every exit's getting louder. I'd assure you that it's nothing, but you never saw it coming, none of it. But then how could you now? A part of me wants you to see, a part of me hopes that you won't.
So just now we're at Keptie Pond in Arbroath. This area here means quite a lot to me. When I was in foster care, this is the place that I escaped with my foster sister Elizabeth, who sadly is no longer with us. This is where we would do our typical childhood stuff like smoke, chew chewing gum, stuff that we weren't allowed to do in the foster home. Over on that island right behind us over there is where we would do all these shenanigans. So Keptie Pond does hold a place in my heart. It is such a beautiful place.
Find me, window crying in the car home. I left you a tear on my cheek, but won't let it stay for too long. I don't wanna ruin the moment, so it's gone before you ever notice. Gone before you ever know. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh.
So we're here on a street in Arbroath called Addison Place. Now this place isn't a place I want to be. It brings back a lot of childhood trauma. The foster care I lived with on this street had an 8-bedroom, 4-bathroom house, and being a small 8-year-old boy, obviously I was scared of the bogeyman, scared of the monsters underneath the bed, scared of things like that. And the foster carer would often not listen to my worries or my fears, not try and help me with it, but instead force me to go up to the bedroom. And I feel like that added on to my childhood trauma. I feel like if she had gave me the support and guidance I needed, I wouldn't have had half the fear that I have now. Now, I'm not scared of the bogeyman under my bed, I'm not scared of things like that, but I am still more social anxiety than I've ever been before in my life. And I'm sitting here with a camera in my hand, walking through Arbroath, and I never ever thought I would be doing that, for example. This road in particular is where me and Elizabeth, who sadly is no longer with us, like I said, at Keptie Pond, used to live. And we'd often walk down the street together, or cycle down the street together, and just create great memories. But we'd always be quite sad knowing that we were going back to this foster home. So these streets do hold a lot of memories. I was glad when I got out of this foster home because it didn't hold any value in my life, and if anything it damaged me more than it helped me. Obviously I did tell the social workers throughout my foster care experience how I felt being in this foster home, but growing up in foster care, moving from home to home is difficult, and there's only a limited amount of foster carers, so unfortunately I was stuck here. The period of time that I was stuck here was for about 6 months, and then I moved on to other foster carers. Now we're just shortly approaching the house that I grew up in. I'll show you it, and then we will move on to somewhere else in Arbroath. So this is the house just behind me here. So guys, we're here at Great Michael Road in Arbroath. This is where I was taken into foster care. So behind me over here used to be a block of flats. That's where my mum used to live, and that's where I was taken into foster care. One morning a bunch of foster care cars and police cars came around over there, went in behind the flats, and that's where I was taken into foster care. So this area has changed quite a lot, with obviously new houses over here the whole way down. But behind me here is Stony Croft, where my mum used to live. Those flats are still there. It's a bittersweet being back in this place, as it's where my life turned upside down. Living with my mum to then being taken into foster care. Over here on the ground here, these bungalows were built beforehand, and I would often be on the ground there building mud pancakes. Mud pancakes, yeah. But yeah, being back in this area brings back too much painful and hurtful memories, I guess. So me and Jordan were just leaving Great Michael Road when we stumbled upon Great Michael Road, just directly right behind us, and we were coming down, and I've just seen these two houses which are still there from when I was young. And this is where my mum had a friend called Wendy, I think her name was. We would always go in our back garden, jump on the trampoline, and she would always give us a Mars bar and stuff. So her house is still actually right behind us there. So yeah, that's another fascinating memory, I guess. So guys, we've now arrived at Academy Lane in Arbroath, which is where the social work department is. Now this is where I had all my contacts with my mum. This is where I was actually signed into foster care. This is where it all happened. In this building right behind me there. Now I'll do some footage for you so you can see that yourself. But this is where all my contacts were. This is where, you know, I'd see my mum 3 times a year most of the time. It was split between this building and another one, which I'll show you later on. But this is the building right behind me. That's Academy Lane. A lot of bad memories because obviously I was in care. I wasn't with my mum at that point, but that is where all the contacts were. Now you can see they're doing a lot of work to that building right now, which is good. More investment in Arbroath, I guess. But yeah, this is another place where a lot of bad childhood memories were. See my mum on the steps just behind me on that side there. My mum standing there crying as I was bundled into the social worker's car and taken to foster care. At the end of every contact, 3 times a year, coming out of that door, getting driven out that gate, down that road, back to foster care. So another childhood memory is my granddad walking me down this street here in Arbroath, Hill Terrace it's called. And we walked down this hill and I was on his shoulders the whole way down. Now this memory in particular is very important to me as my granddad recently had a stroke and he's starting to give up a bit. So holding on to these memories and just re-walking his steps with me on his shoulders as a 3-year-old before I was taken into care do mean the world. Here's the hill he took me down. This exact hill. Me on his shoulders, remembering every step he took, because every step he took, my little knees around his shoulders would be going left to right to match his footsteps. So it's a treasured memory that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Before I was taken into care, I was also, my granddad's mates, Christine and Steve, used to live on that street right ahead of us. Christine and Steve had this van and we would always go on little adventures. My granddad and Steve used to have vans and lorries, recovery trucks and stuff, and they would often do that to earn a bit of money so they can go out on the weekend and buy drinks and alcohol. So yeah, loads of good memories. My granddad was a grafter and he always worked hard for what he got. So if you're watching this, Granddad, I love you. So I'm currently standing at Bellevue House in Arbroath on Springburn Road. Now this building here is where all the children's panels take place. So if you're in foster care, you always come here every year, and it's for your foster carers and the social workers to get progress updates on your behaviour, how you're settling into foster homes and how your life is going in general, how you're progressing at school and all that stuff. It's also where your family get told how bad they're doing, and it's also where you get told if you're going to remain in care or get to go home with your family, how much you get to see your family in contacts and stuff like that. Coming out this building all the time always brought sad memories. My mum would always be in tears crying, and it wasn't a good place to be. So Bellevue House in Arbroath. So guys, I've got Jordan here. Jordan's one of my friends. He's here to help me with going out in public and vlogging. He does his own photography stuff and he's got balls of steel. So for me to start getting confident going out in public and recording, Jordan's the man that's going to make that happen today. All right. So we're here at St Abbs Road in Arbroath, and I'm currently looking at my old primary school. Now, it used to be called Hayeshead Primary when I went here. However, about 3 years after I moved away, my old school was demolished and they built the school today, which is known as Abbey Campus, St Abbey's Campus or something it's called. Abbey View Campus. There you are, eventually got it out. Looking now, I feel heartbroken because the school that I went to was a big 2-storey World War II sort of time school. It had bunkers underneath and all that stuff, and it felt different to how this feels. It feels like a bit of your heart's ripped out, essentially. This school's a lot smaller than what the one I went to was, so obviously they've shrunk it. They probably don't need a large school the size of that anymore. But looking right in front of me right now, there's a fence. And that fence was there when Hayeshead was here. And that fence used to be the garden of where the teaching assistants would take us out and we would plant potatoes, carrots and all that stuff. And a lot of the time I was brought up in foster care. A lot of the time I would be in this garden thinking about my mum or wanting to stay at school longer because I wouldn't want to return to the foster homes. School was my life back then. And I think that's why I feel so heartbroken that the school I went to has been demolished and replaced with this. Because that was the one thing in foster care that kept me strong. So much memories of Hayeshead Primary School Christmas Gala where I'd be in the massive hall, you know, flour, chocolate balls in it, with a sieve sifting out all the chocolate balls and all that stuff. Loads of gala activities at Christmas time. That all that memories have just vanished because the school is gone. It's painful. But I'm not going to record the school building because that's a bit dodgy and we'll get asked loads of questions. But that is the fence I'm on about right there. And where those trees are is where we used to plant the carrots and the potatoes and stuff. And that fence is still there. So at least one memory of my childhood still exists, I guess, of this school. But it's good to see that Arbroath's getting more investment, like I've said. This is another investment to Arbroath, one of many. And I'm sure there's kids that go to that school now enjoy it. But yeah, it's really sad to see another memory ripped away. So behind me is the Round O chip shop. This is where I went a few times with Mum on contacts when I was in foster care. It's a great chip shop, so I highly recommend if you're in Arbroath to try it out. Very good fish and chips. So yeah, we're just going to walk through Arbroath town now and discuss a few areas that I went with Mum while I was in foster care. And yeah, this will kind of close the video off. We'll go down to the harbour, see what memories I've got there, and yeah. Today's my first day vlogging in public. I've just done a video on that, so I don't know if that'll come out first or second, but yeah. We've got W.H. Smith over here. That's where I went a good few times with Mum. pick up books during contacts. My mum would often work very hard to give me and my brother what we had. Work like loads of hours and stuff just to provide for us, because she was scared that we were not going to speak to her or not remember her if she didn't actually provide us with things. So she'd work really hard all the time, spend all of her money on us. We only got to see Mum 3 times a year, so Arbroath doesn't really bring back positive memories, but it's still good to come and visit and see what's changed, I guess. I mean, you could probably tell in the background there's a few roughers still here in Arbroath, but yeah. There's not really much other memories about Arbroath, apart from Argos up here, which again is where Mum bought us loads of stuff from because she wanted us to remember her. So that place in there, Argos. So yeah, there's not really much more I can say about Arbroath. It's not really somewhere I like to be. I've picked up a lot of improvements, a lot of negatives about Arbroath. I've rambled on because I'm nervous, because it's my first time vlogging in public, and look, I'm still doing it right now with Jordan in the background. But yeah, Arbroath, it's not somewhere I would move back to. It's somewhere that's still, in my opinion, falling apart with all the to let signs there. You've got another one over there, if you can see that. So basically everywhere seems to be still shutting down. It's not seeming to improve much, you know. But I guess it'll always be home, Arbroath. It'll always be home. But yeah, not a lot more memories. Nickel and dime there. That's where Mum used to always take us as well when we were in foster care. Buy us all the stuff. Once again, because she wanted us to remember who she was. That's the thing with my mum as well. She would always buy us all these items and spend all of her money on us. Top of the range stuff, Nintendo DS's, Xboxes and stuff. And when we got it to the foster home, it was taken off us and we'd never see it again. All this top of the range clothes, shoes, designer clothes. Foster carers would take it off us and that would be it. So yeah, it's not the best. Never seen it, still wondering where it all is, but at the end of the day, I'll never know. I'll never know. Foster carers probably gave it to their kids, or social work took it back because it wasn't fair on other kids. I don't know. But my mum never got the items back and I most certainly didn't see them. Anyway, let's head to the harbour. So we're just now at Arbroath Harbour. This is one of the areas where I spent a lot of my time. I had a support worker when I was in foster care called Margaret. And Margaret was an inspiration. She would always bring me in the car and we'd park over here. And she would talk to me for hours and hours, making sure I was okay. She would take me to fast food places like McDonald's, Burger King, and basically just make sure that my foster care life was going well. This place here inspired me to join the Navy when I was 16. All the boats behind me. So Arbroath does mean a whole heap to me. So currently walking down the Arbroath seafront. And this park behind me here, I'm not going to get kids in it because obviously that's a bit weird, but this park behind me is where me and my brother talked, and that really kick-started the journey of getting out of foster care. This park means a lot to me for that reason, because I remember that specific day was we had a breakdown in a foster home and it wasn't going well, and we got moved out of that foster home due to being out of contact with our mum that day at this park. That kicked the ball off, and my brother and my gran and my mum decided to take the social work department to court, and we got back with our mum. So this park genuinely holds a lot of value in my life. So we're just walking down Arbroath seafront now, which I'll show you over here. And this place genuinely does hold such a value in my heart. Now, I've heard recently that Kerr's Miniature Railway, which was a tourist attraction further down here, recently shut down. Now, it was such a tourist attraction. It was the best thing ever, Kerr's Miniature Railway. So I'm going to go down and see if that's true, and I'll let you guys know. So we're now approaching Kerr's Miniature Railway, and the rumours are true. It has shut down. That is extremely sad. So here is the former Kerr's Miniature Railway, I guess, folks. This is If you don't know what Kerr's miniature railway was, it was a miniature railway. Name is in the game, and it would run down half a length of Arbroath beach down here. So it's nothing but a bunch of rail containers. It's pretty sad to see. A huge part of Arbroath history gone like that. So yeah, at least I now know it's completely gone.
Bubblegum fights on the third floor. Comedy specials at 8. Fishing rod and a quiet fear that what I caught wouldn't be big enough for you at lie and say I did great. And all of these moments, they add up to something that feels so big. And all that I'm left with's a dry throat. I lose my head when you call me up and ask if I'm doing okay.
So we've gone into Marco's ice cream shop on Arbroath Harbour before we leave the harbour area. I got myself a bubblegum ice cream. Jordan got himself a 99 cone, but we've got back to the car now, so I'm gonna try my bubblegum ice cream. Now I believe it was £4.60 for 2 scoops, which fills up this cup here at Marco. Personally, I think it's if you asked me a year ago, I'd say it would have been a rip-off, £2.80 for 2 scoops. But you ask me now with inflation going up, I'm gonna say that's an okay price for 2 scoops of ice cream right at Arbroath Harbour, which is a tourist destination. So I'm going to try it. That's actually nice. That's actually worth it. Now, she asked if we wanted sauce on it, and I did get sauce put on it, blue bubblegum sauce, with bubblegum ice cream, funnily enough. But that was worth every single penny of that £2.80. It's not like Hubba Bubba, if you've ever had that. It's not like Hubba Bubba bubblegum flavour. It's not like chewing gum bubblegum flavour. This is a unique bubblegum flavour. It's hard to even describe how it tastes. It's very milky, it's very smooth. If you look at that there, it's a nice consistency. But mad, that tastes so nice. Look, it's so bubbly, so airy. It tastes absolutely nice. I had to shut my door there because there's a woman going past. I don't want to trip over my door. But no, genuinely, this is the best ice cream ever. I'm going to sit down, enjoy this. So we're just passing Dundee on the way through to record more videos in Perth. And I just came across Chandler's Lane in Dundee. Now, this place does hold a lot of memories, and these houses right behind me over here, as that's where I grew up when I was about 5 or 6 years old. Now, I used to always look out the window of the house and look down at this big red ship, which is called the North Car Lighthouse ship, I think it's called. And when I was young, I would always look out the foster carer's window directly down at this ship, where the men would be like working on it. I think they were hobbyists. And yeah, every time I was depressed or sad, I would just film this ship on my little phone that I had at the time. But yeah, I thought I'd take you along and show you this ship. My bedroom window was right behind us here, and then I'd always look down at this ship here, if I could turn the camera. So that is the Red Car lighthouse ship. But when I was down here, you didn't have any of that vegetation on it. And there was always guys in like old Land Rover Defenders parked on these cobbles walking up and looking after the ship essentially, so yeah, it's quite different. Up there. Such a good ship. Loads of memories. I remember there was a small little boat over here and it was like sinking and they were all out with buckets trying to get it to, you know, surface again. But that's it there, the Red Car lighthouse boat. Followed by my old bedroom, which was that one right there. So yeah, great memories. I just had to come and show you that real quick because that was a huge part of my childhood when I was young and when I was growing up. The lighting looks a bit screwed on this clip actually. But yeah, another point is how much investment this area's had because they've built loads of flats since I was last year. But the final thing I'll show you is down this street here. That's where we used to build snowmen when it was snowing. So yeah, Dundee does hold a huge part of my heart, and this area here was one of the good foster carers. They no longer live here, hence why I am recording it, but yeah, definitely a very good part of my life, guys. Being back in the town that I grew up in obviously brings back raw memories, trauma from childhood, time that I wasn't with my mother, but Arbroath is still home and it always will be home. It's sad to see the town still deteriorating with all the shops shutting down. That's sad to see, but the overall investment of Arbroath is phenomenal. Thought there was a car behind me. Yeah, the investment in Arbroath is coming a long way with brand new houses being built, brand new schools being built, so on and so forth. I hope this has given you an insight into my life, guys. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. Drop your video suggestions below. Hopefully it's related to food reviews, just food videos, challenges, or vlogs. And until the next video, guys, I will see you in the next one.